Hello, hello, hello. It is Sunday, and we are on day number 2 of our Boone-a-thon, everything you need to know before the trial. How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are having a great weekend. It's coming to a close. It's back to work tomorrow. Let's see. Let me say hi. Let me see who's in here. Preschool Granny, hello. SSJ, hello. Shelly Beans, Boss Lady, Neat Noodle, Week Up Shy, Leather and Lace, Ryan, Cement Shoes, Rebellious Rose, Yana, KPM, A Million Sparkles, Crystal D, good to see you. Nicole B, hey. Good to see everybody. Welcome in. Hey, Trulia Beach. Hey, Carolina. Hey, Michelle L. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to see everybody. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Yes, Deanna May, you have caught alive. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you caught it. All right. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right. So tonight, in our quest to know all the things we need to know before Sarah's trial starts on October 7th, 2024, with jury selection. We're going to start with the 911 call where it all began. Okay. Hey, Crystal D. Hey, Science Sense. Good to see you guys. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. We're going to start with the 911 call. Then I think I want to hear what, hi, in the garden. Good to see you. I want to hear what, I want to hear what Brian has to say. Okay. Oh, okay. Hazel Eyes is here, y'all. Now we can start for reals. I was just waiting till you got here, Hazel Eyes. Okay, so I really want to hear what Brian has to say. It's been a minute since I've listened to his statement, and I'm interested in that. Also, Stevens Tobins left a comment on last night's live and asked an interesting question about basically the layout of the apartment, because when you look at the suitcase video, it appears to be at the other end of the living room, and it's in between the living room and the kitchen. Oh, Science Sense, thank you so much for Nestor. I appreciate that. That was very generous. Thank you so much. Nestor. You guys want to see Nestor really quick? I'd like to see Nestor really quick. Let's show Nestor. This is my favorite. These are my 2 favorite pictures of Nestor. I mean, that's just love right there. The way that he's just looking, if you've never been looked at like that, I'm sorry, but get you a dog and they will look like that at you. That's just pure love. And this right here, this is my other favorite. The 2 of us cuddling on the couch together. That was, I think, 2015, I think, right around Christmas time. I think that's when that was. Yeah, I don't remember what we were watching. There's another couch on the other side, or chairs. The club chairs were there. That's right, because I got rid of that other couch. Yeah, that's my buddy. That's my big brown dog. I miss him. I love him. Yana, he was the best boy. Aw, Grace on Wheels says, also, I'm so sorry for your loss. My Millie, 60-pound lab mix, passed just over a year ago, and she was my kindred spirit. I miss her so much. Yeah. Yeah, they're just the best. They're the best. They are, dogs are the best. All right. So, no, you didn't, like, make me upset or anything. It's cool, I miss him. I'm gonna keep missing him. I know he's up there having the time of his life, chasing all the balls, swimming. He loves to swim, having all the snacks, all the things. Rebellious Rose, I'm sorry you lost your shepherd. I had a German shepherd years and years ago named Stella, and she and my black lab Baxter got together and created six puppies. All of them were all black, one yellow, and each of the black ones had one little tiny spot of white somewhere on their body. Like, one of them had a little diamond on their chest, one of them had it on one paw, on their hand in the front, and one of them had it on their back, on their foot. Oh, they were all so cute. Um, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Okay, so I really want to hear what Brian has to say. It's been a long time since I've listened to what he has to say. But back to what I was talking about, the floor plan. Okay. So I went to the website for the apartment complex, and the way that it looks is when you walk in the front door, immediately, because it's facing, yeah, so it's not the way that you're looking, while, like, from the floor plan or whatever. It's if you're entering the front door. I think that the stairs are sort of behind the front door. That's the way it looks. They're renovating, so there's not a whole lot of, like, good pictures available. And so Stevens Tobines was asking, where would that suitcase have ended up if she kicked it down the stairs? And I think that it would have tumbled down the stairs and likely landed probably, like, right around the front door area. But remember, last night we heard from her neighbor, Vincent, that after all of that noise of something coming down the stairs, there was shuffling. I suspect that that is Sarah moving the suitcase. That's what I think happened. So, yes. Um, so I think what we're going to do first is we're going to listen to the 911 call, because I think it's important um, that we hear all of the things that she has to say in that 911 call. Also, I want to bring it to your attention that the behavior panel did a review of Sarah's uh, interrogation video. And they had quite a few interesting things to say about that. I would definitely, absolutely check that out. If you want to hear just the behavior panel, it's on their channel. However, if you look on my channel, Alex Erickson and I and TT Truth Teller, we went over that interview. We listened to what the behavior panel had to say, and it was a lighthearted live. We cracked some jokes, um, and all of that. So um, we're going to if you want to check that out, you can. Yes, they Grace on Wheels, 100%. They were not fans of the cops. They felt like it was not a good interview. They got what they needed, but they, like most of us, I think, felt like there was too many interruptions, and they should have given Sarah the opportunity to speak more. I think that they are right. So there's that. Okay. All right. So are we ready? Should we hear it? Let's do it. All right. So this is from Fox 35 Orlando. Fox 35 Orlando has been covering Sarah Boone since the very beginning. I'm going to put their link in the chat. I frequent their channel because they at first were the ones that were mainly carrying her pretrial hearings. And before all of that, before now we're close to it and whatnot. So now it's a bigger deal, and more channels are carrying at Court TV and like um, Long Crime Network. But anyway, so without further ado, I present to you the 911 call. All right, you guys, here we go. Oh, wait, I forgot to turn closed captions on. All right, let's go.
911, what is the location of your emergency? 4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748, what's the street name?
France, FRANTZ.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
All right, right. We're not even 30 seconds in, and I already have to make commentary, but we do have to have commentary because for fair use. So right away, I think there's something interesting that you notice, or for me that I notice. So I'm going to point that out. First of all, the lack of emotion. Okay. And I think that this is very interesting and, in my opinion, a little bit telling. I will say this. There are people, hi, I'm people, it's me, who, when there is an emergency situation, can absolutely completely compartmentalize when they're on the phone with 911 because it's what you need to do. I've had to call 911, and I think probably the most stressful thing that ever happened to me was when little Minnie Bendy was not even 2, and she had a febrile seizure. And I didn't know that that's what it was, but I knew that she was having a seizure. And so I had to call 911. And I was very, very calm. I was very, very calm when I rode in the ambulance with her. But I think that comes from the fact that both of my parents have a medical background. My mom was a histologist. My dad was a paramedic, and then he taught paramedic school for a long time. And then he's now a retired dialysis nurse. So I come from that background, and I understand that they're relying on you to understand, because they're telling the people they're dispatching what's going on. And the calmer you are, the more information you can give them, the better prepared the paramedics are when they arrive on scene. But that is a unique set of circumstances, the way that I grew up. And so I try really hard not to judge people. The reason I bring it up with Sarah is because she's very matter of fact and almost a little bit cold in this moment. Yet we see her when the first responders do arrive on the body cam footage, and she's not cool, calm, and collected. She's frantic. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, One Urban Homestead, I'm glad you're here. No malicious. You got to do the dishes. I get it. Listen, I'm a mama. I know how it goes. All right, here we go.
Fire risk. What's the location, Mercy?
That's 32.
No, please don't leave.
4748 France Lane, apartment 3.
France Court.
France Court.
Yes.
Okay, is this near Mackenzie Drive?
I don't know where that is.
Okay, fine, okay.
It's Hillwood Park Apartments.
Okay, 4748 France, correct?
Correct.
All right, correct. Now tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And
Okay.
like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Right. Okay. What's your apartment number?
3.
Apartment 3.
Yes, like he has like blood coming out of his mouth, and I don't know if like he had like an aneurysm or what happened.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Listen, we're getting help out there too. All right. Okay. Okay.
Right now?
Okay. Yeah, man. Listen, we're on our way out there. You're at 407-716-8684. Okay. Is he hanging from somewhere or what, ma'am?
No, I pulled him out of the suitcase. I tried giving him CPR.
Okay. So he was in a suitcase?
Yes, and I fell asleep.
Okay. How old is the
42.
boyfriend, ma'am? 42-year-old male. All right. Okay. We're sending help out there. Sheriff's Officer on the way out there?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen to me. Okay. I just need to confirm this. All right. I understand. I just need to confirm this. Is he awake at all? Is he conscious at all?
No, he's purple.
Is he breathing?
No.
All right. I need you to get him on the floor, flat on his back for me, okay?
I did. I tried giving him CPR.
All right.
I tried giving him CPR.
Yeah, okay.
But nothing happened. He's purple.
Okay, listen to me. There's a defibrillator available. I need you to get it for me, okay?
What is it?
You have an AED available?
No.
All right. You're right by him now.
I'm sorry?
Are you right by him now?
Yes.
Okay. Lay him flat on his. Okay, ma'am, listen. Listen, is he cold and stiff?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's not necessarily cold, but he's stiff. And he's purple.
Okay. All right, listen to me. Listen to me. I want you to lay him flat on his back for me on the floor.
I did.
Removing the pillows. Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay.
He's stiff and purple.
Right. Okay. Listen. Okay, man. That's fine. We're still going to do compressions on him. Okay. All right. Place the heel of your hand on his breastbone, right in the center of the chest, right between the nipples.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Baby, I'm telling you. Just by looking at him, you can tell.
Okay.
Please. Okay, he just gurgled.
Okay. Listen to me. All right. I want you to place the heel of your hand. Okay, right between his chest, right between his breastbones.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Yes,
we want to pump his chest to me hard and fast, going to this twice per second.
I'm doing it again.
Okay, no, just keep on pumping. That's all you need to do for me. Keep on pumping his chest for me. I don't need you to stop and talk or anything. I just want you to count out loud for me, okay?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is mixing.
Okay, ma'am, just keep on pumping his chest. That's all you need to do for me, okay?
Yes. Come on, please. Hurry up.
Okay, ma'am, they're driving here as fast as they can. Okay, don't stop to say hurry up. Just keep on pumping and counting.
I'm still doing it while I'm talking to you, okay?
Okay.
Still doing it.
All right, just continue pumping his chest. Count on a second count with you.
She's literally not doing it. Now, I'm going to say this, okay? I don't think that she tried to give him CPR here or during the 911 call or previous, okay? I think that to me, the fact that she continues to want to tell the story of what happened the night before, to me, that is a little bit troubling. I'm not going to lie. It gives me a red flag. Because usually when somebody is wanting help, they're going to tell you what's going on right then. And it's hard to know with Sarah, because it's hard to know let me just say this. It's hard to know in these cases in general, really, because when we hear these calls, right? When we see the interrogation videos or body cam footage, we're meeting these people on like the worst day of their life. Okay. So we don't really have a good baseline for how they react to things other than this. It's not like we knew them before, although Vincent did, I won't say know them, like they didn't, hang out and kick it. There was no, he wasn't invited to the day camp of arts and crafts and all the things, but, or maybe he was, he just didn't attend. He seemed like he didn't really want to attend. But my point is that he did say, um, he did know them. And, he the conversations that he had with Sarah are puzzling as well. Carolina, I went and I looked at the clerk's website, and I'm not seeing a motion for a request for Sarah Boone's jail calls filed by Owens. So if you could tell me maybe what the name of the motion is, maybe that would help me. But I'm not seeing a request for her calls. Yeah, Sarah Boone's whole vibe is a red flag. It is. And I will say this: I don't think that the 911 operator understands like the gravity of the situation, and I think that when she says that he gurgled, I think that the 911 operator thought that there might be a chance. I don't Okay, so I don't see that. So if somebody could, there is okay, I don't let me while this is playing, I'm going to continue to look through all of the motions. I don't think that the state has to file a motion to get those calls. They can listen into them at any point. So I don't know that they need to file a motion with the court in order to have access to those calls. Okay, Caroline, I appreciate that, babe. Uh, yes, I think that's exactly what was happening here, but I think that the 911 operator maybe misinterpreted that. And KPM, there is nothing filed okay, no, he didn't make the deadline. So sorry, KPM says any motion filed by Owens that he was supposed to by end of Friday. No. And so what I'm thinking is that what that motion dealt with is some things that Sarah said on the body cam footage and the statement that she gave detectives in their car. And he wanted to preserve that record, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to if he was going to file a motion to suppress that those statements until he spoke with Sarah on Monday. And so evidently he decided it would be a better idea to go on Vinnie Politan's panel on Court TV that night after the hearing rather than file whatever it is that he was supposed to file. So I can't imagine that for one thing, there's no way they're gonna toss the body cam footage. She was not being detained by the officer. She was, definitely not. She definitely wanted to keep Sarah and Brian from speaking to each other, right? Because she was trying to get a statement. But at the end of the day, Sarah didn't have to talk. So there was no reason. She wasn't in custody, and there was no reason to Mirandize her. So those statements are coming in, period. All right, let's keep going. Oh, wait, hold on. I just saw something. Thank you, Casey May, for being a member for 10 months. I appreciate that, babe. Hey, everybody coming in. It's so good to see you. And listen, MP is me says she absolutely did not do CPR. And I agree. I don't think she did either. And to be honest with you, maybe she, I don't think she did it. I don't think she did it at all. Not on the 911 tape or before. but whatever. Let's just keep going because let's get through this because it's important. We want to hear this. We're halfway through and then we got other stuff we got to listen to. So let's hit it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Please hurry.
Okay, ma'am, they're getting there as fast as they can, okay?
He's stiff and he's purple.
Okay. Keep pumping his chest for me, ma'am.
I'm still doing it, okay? Still doing it. Just don't make me count.
Right, okay, that's fine. Just you do a good job. Just keep on doing it for me. That's all right. They're getting there as fast as they can, along with the sheriff's office also, okay?
Please.
Okay. Keep on pumping, ma'am. 1,
We were playing hide
2,
and seek.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep on pumping for me, ma'am.
I'm not doing it. I'm doing it. Believe me, I'm doing it, okay? We were playing
Okay.
hide and seek.
Okay. All right, I understand.
I found it.
All right, just keep on pumping for me, okay? Okay.
Please hurry. This
Right,
is
okay.
To me, it sounds
horrible.
like,
This is horrific.
I'm sure it is, Sarah. Think about how George felt when he was in that suitcase and you were doing all the things, taunting him and such. I found what you guys are talking about. So we're going to talk about that next. And quite frankly, this is what I think. I think Sarah is not in her apartment at all. I think she's standing like she's not giving him CPR. I think that she's standing and having a cigarette. That's what I think she's doing, like out the back door, because that's what it sounds like to me. But that doesn't, the jury doesn't care what Jen Lou thinks.
What happened? Like, what happened?
Okay, man, just keep on pumping his chest for me, okay? They're in the parking lot. They should be up there shortly, okay?
I'm still doing it, okay?
All right, okay, good. And you found them in a suitcase, you said?
Yes. We were playing hide and seek last night. I fell asleep. I think they're here.
Right, just keep on pumping his chest until they take over, okay?
I am.
Okay.
She even gets snarky with 911. Like, bruh, they're trying to help you.
I am.
Okay.
Hey, Brad X, good to see you.
I am.
Okay.
Open. Come in. Can I stop pumping now?
Let them take over for you, okay?
When was the last time anybody saw him? Last night. We were playing hide and seek. He hit another. It's okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, he's been down too long. There's nothing we can do for him.
Hello, ma'am.
And so we're there, obviously.
All right.
Yeah, no, he's my boyfriend. He's your boyfriend? Okay. Does he have any kind of metaphors? No. No, not that I know of.
Hello?
Hey, ma'am, the fire department's going to take care of you now, okay? Yeah, so we'll see you there.
All righty. Oh, ma'am is still there?
No, the ma'am is not
Hello?
still here. Done hung up, y'all. But I think that part, hey, I'm Kayleen. Yeah, making her alibi on the 911 call. It was a good day. All right. So what I find interesting about that is that at the very end there, okay, she is told there's nothing that they can do for him. Okay. And there's no reaction. There's no crying. Even if like, I'm not, listen, there's no reaction. Like, I feel like if Sarah did cry, she'd mainly be crying for herself in the way, just because, but of the kind of person that she is. But even just nothing, nothing. It's a blank. I don't understand it. Ah, the boss lady, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. Like there's no reaction, none. But yet, call her a drunk, and she's ready. She's gonna. She's kicking off her chunkless and wanting you, and taking out her earrings and hold. She's got somebody holding her hoops. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, she's ready to fight. But you tell her. See, and I thought about this, Deanna May. Deanna says because she knew he was dead already. But the thing is, um, like, if you're taking this at face value, right? And everything happening the way that Sarah said it happened, okay? And you're listening and you hear her on the phone. There's knowing and then there's having it confirmed, and there's nothing in the confirmation. It just there's such a disconnect there that it's always bothered me. It's always been one of those things that I was like, and just like I put it like in the back of my head, on a little post-it note, like on the outside of the file cabinet, and it's always there, but I don't really know what to do with it, and yeah. So, okay, let me pull this up. I think it is the same thing that you're talking about. Let's see. Hold on, let me share this tab instead. All right, so this is on the 19th. Comes now the state of Florida by and through the undersigned state attorney, and they want the inmate tablet communications records, but specific pages 424 through 891. Copies of items listed will be provided under separate cover. Previous discovery provided. Oh, I see. Previous discovery provided includes pages 1 through 423. Please verify copy of all pages and notify our office of any missing pages. Now, let me see. Let me see where that's at. Let's see. This is a supplemental discovery. It's a hearing. It's expert, indigent. Motion for return of notice. Let me see what this is. This is arrest affidavit. Huh. It's part of their discovery. Let's see. Inmate tablet communications records. That was filed on the 18th. Available upon request and receipt of one blank DVD or disc. All right. Let's see. I don't see anything. I'm just going to keep going though. I might have just missed it. I'm looking, you guys. I'm looking. Let's see. Okay. Let me check what you guys are saying. Oh, yeah, Brat, I do. Brat says, do you think there will be evidence we've yet to see? There's so much out there. I feel like there can't be too much left. There is stuff that's left. Okay. Let's talk about what we don't know. Okay. We haven't seen, like the diagram of the apartment, which I think is important because I'd like to know where everything was. And one thing we haven't seen that I think we definitely need to see is, well, I have seen the talk screen. George just had alcohol in his system, alcohol and nicotine. That's it, nothing else. No illicit substances. So there's that. I would like to see, um, the crime scene photos, not of George, but of the apartment. It was high, KPM. I'll have to go back and pull that up. But what I would like to see is, remember, Sarah said the whole reason that the suitcase was even out is because they were going through things and getting rid of stuff, and they were putting it in that suitcase, right? So, what you would expect to see, and in these crime scene photos, right, would be, and George had to have taken some things out, and he's not a big guy, but I mean, even even though he's not that big of a guy, he's still bigger than a suitcase. Okay, if it had stuff in it, I think he would need to remove items, if they're, in order to get into the suitcase. I think he would have had to get into the suitcase with maybe one or two shirts or something, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? And so, all right, I'm going to look at it. Okay, on September 27th, Carolina. Okay, I'll look at it. I'll go see what they filed. So, I want to see if there are clothes in the living room, right? Because if the suitcase started out downstairs, which is what Sarah alleges, I would think that whatever was in that suitcase that had to be taken out so that George could get in would still be sitting there. That's what I think. I'm curious about that. I want to see, and I want to see the layout of the house. Oh, well, wow. Thank you. Our urban homestead said, the word case studies, I don't comment all the time, but I listen all the time. Thank you for listening all the time. I appreciate your commentary and your witty words. Thank you so much. I thank you very, very much. Yes, Candace, we're going back to day one where it all began. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. And I'm glad you decided to chat. Okay, so let me look at this that was filed on the 27th. Okay, because we did talk about this. Let's see. Preliminary objections. Let's see. Police reports. Well, let's just read it. Let's see. Let's just go through it. Let's go through it. Let's just go through it. Let's just see what we can see. Because a lot of times, if I'm just trying to like scan it and read it myself, I sometimes go too quick. It's easier and better when I take it in better when I read it to you guys. So here we go. Let's see. All right, let me look at this. Okay. What's this notice of filing? Okay, that's their Brady list. We've already talked about that. All right. This is their first response. Let me do it this way. Let me do this one. Let me look at the time on this. 11:12:46. Let me look at this one. Well, they're filed at the same dadgum time. This is the problem though. I can't find the dadgum defendants list. All right. Well, we're just going to go through this. Okay. All right. So let's see. State received an amended exhibit list from the defendant. This is outside of the scope of the time frame. The defendant was allowed to list exhibits, but the court granted leeway for a potential extension. The potential admissibility of the battered spouse evidence has changed the feasibility of all of the court's deadlines in its scheduling order from August 5th. Items 1 through 3, which the defendant does not even have yet, will likely require hearsay relevance and 90.403 objections to be made, resulting in either their exclusion or voluminous redactions be made. Also, these records may require the battered spouse syndrome experts to have to re-examine the defendant, potentially be redeposed. These are police reports, items 4 through 7. Are items 8 through 11. The state notifies the defendant that it will potentially use photographs of George Torres's injuries as well. This will also involve the testimony of the deputies who observed George Torres's injuries during these prior incidents. 12 is an inadmissible hearsay. 13 is inadmissible character evidence. If the defendant does testify that she used justifiable deadly force against George Torres on the evening she killed him, she is permitted to testify to prior bad acts of violence committed by George Torres that she's aware of. This, however, does not allow a rap sheet to be admitted. 14 is a police report. 15 is character evidence. 16 is irrelevant and hearsay. These look like the 911 calls from prior incidents, the one on June 18th and the one on September 4th, 2019. All right, let's see what this one is. It's the same thing. It's a duplicate. So I guess I must. Brat X. That is so interesting that you brought that movie up, Primal Fear, because I have been thinking about that movie, and so much so that I watched it again, but it didn't have anything to do with this case. It was another case. And there was something about another case that I was looking into that just reminded me of Primal Fear. All right, let's see what this is. All right, let's share this tab instead. April 13th, the court entered a uniform. It was pretrial conference. Oh. Now at 11:43 p.m. on September 26, 2024, the evening after which her pretrial conference was scheduled, files a legally insufficient motion to suppress her statements made to Deputy Kayla Rodriguez and the first of two statements made to Detective Kessel and Lowen. Okay. So that's that objection. All right. We talked about that. This is another response to the state. We read that already. I can't find it, you guys. Let me go through it and not make you guys sit here and wait when we have other stuff that we can be going through. Let me go find Brian's statement. Hold on a second. Okay. Let me see. All right. So we're going to listen to Brian, and I will try to find it. And you know what? Here's the thing. This is how I feel about the whole, all these motions or whatever. They're going to be heard on October 2nd anyway. And so I rather I would rather listen to them argue their motions than read their motions. And I don't want to waste you guys' time because it's Sunday night. Tomorrow's a work night, so we can't be up, having a Boone-a-thon super duper late. All right, so we're going to listen to the interview that it's just the audio that Brian Boone gave. Again, this comes from Deep Dive True Crime Mentor Lawyer. And he's done incredible work on this case. He's also done incredible work on the Adelson case, the murder victim in that case, Stan Markell, the Adelson family. Charlie just went to trial last year. And he's been on top of that, and he just does a fantastic job. So there we go. That is the link to this video, and we are going to listen to this. And let me hold on a minute, get everything ready for you guys, because it's been a minute since I've listened to Brian, and I would like to listen to him because he's going to be a witness for, I would think, both sides, really, for different reasons. I mean, obviously, he'll be able to testify for the state because of what he actually witnessed that day, right? When he was called and came over. Okay. He'll be able to talk about that, but he'll also be able to talk about Sarah Boone as a person and his experiences with her. And for Sarah, he will be able to discuss what he knows about Sarah and George's relationship. So I'm quite interested in hearing what Brian has to say. So without further ado, I present to you Brian Boone, courtesy of Deep Dive True Crime. The link is in the chat and will be added to the description. Here we go.
48 France Lane, apartment number 3 in Winter Park, Florida. Also in the car with.
Hang on, let me just say something really quick. Night, MK. I know you got to work early. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Lil Red. I appreciate that. I changed it so I was less Letitia Stout-esque. Although personally, I don't think I look anything like her, but it was bothering me, so I changed it. I took that picture Friday, I think. All right, here we go.
With me is my partner,
Scott Lowen, Detective of the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
And your name, sir?
Brian, 75.
Okay. So, Brian, to my understanding, you were called over here. So can you just take me back to this morning and your involvement with Sarah, which is your ex-wife?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes. We've been divorced about a year and a half.
Okay.
I started calling her probably 10:30 or so. It's her day to pick up the kid, but
Okay.
it doesn't always happen. 1 or 2 days a week, maybe she gets them.
Out of the 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And what do you, like every other day you're supposed to?
Well, we're supposed to. She's Monday, Tuesday, I'm Wednesday, Thursday, and then we alternate Friday through Sunday is how it's supposed to. I was actually my lawyer back a couple weeks ago because I was looking to get it changed because she can never stick to it. There's always some reason why. So it's general that I start calling her around to find out if she's actually going to get him, even though yesterday she told me she would. So I started calling her about 10:30. Never got any answer until 9. So I finally got a hold of her at 12:49.
And did she call you or you call her?
No, I called her. I called her at 11:25. I did that twice. I always call twice because generally she's asleep or whatever. And then I called her 2 more times at 12:21, and then I called her again at 12:49, and that's when she answered.
Okay.
Freaking out, saying that George was dead, and could I please come over? So I told her, you need to call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And went and got my dog in his crate and everything, and started heading over here. She called me again at 12:54 asking if I was going to be coming over, if I'd left yet. And I told her I had already left. I was going to be there in a couple minutes. So I got here, knocked on the door, walked in just right in the front entrance area. Told her once again, you need to call the police.
Was she on the phone with anyone when
Not
you
yet.
saw her?
Not yet.
Okay.
She was shaking, and she was trying to get herself something to drink because she was just like freaking out. So that's when she got on the phone and called, and I said, I'm going outside because I don't really want to be in here right now. So I came outside and I sat in my car until people showed up, and
Okay.
it's kind of where we've gone from there. So
Okay. So you called her about 5 or 6 times before she answered.
yeah, which completely normal.
Normal to you. Okay. The rotation real quick. So Monday, Tuesday, she'll have them. Wednesday, Thursday, you'll have them. And then you rotate each weekend.
Yeah, well,
Like it's every other weekend.
how it's supposed to work. Generally, it's 1 or 2 times, maybe a week. I think she had him last Tuesday was the last time he was actually over here.
And spent the night.
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably another week before that.
What's your son's name?
Lucas. Lukas.
L-U-K. And Boone.
Yeah.
Okay. You think he stayed here last Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was last Tuesday.
Was well then. Okay, so you technically have him more than she does. Is,
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you're
Yeah,
getting?
that's why I said I was going
So
to the
even
lawyer. I
though
was
that's how
trying to get
it's
things
supposed
changed.
to be, you still have him.
Yeah,
the majority.
it's not a good day. George is in a bad mood or whatever else reason. I think sometimes just she wants to stay up and drink and can't really do that if she's got to wake up and take him to school the next day.
Right.
Any number of different reasons. So, but,
Okay. How long have you known Sarah?
Since, let's see here, I was probably 23 or so when we met,
Oh wow.
something like that.
Since you were 23?
Yeah, so probably, 20 years. We dated for quite a while, and then got married, whatever it was, 12, 13 years ago, something like that. Well, I guess 12, 13 years ago before the divorce. So I guess like 14, 15 ago, something like that, maybe.
Okay. What can you tell me about her?
I don't, she's generally not, she can get a bit violent when she drinks. Not to this kind of extent. I don't know what happened exactly. But,
Right. No, I'm just looking for.
But that was part of it. The alcohol has gotten worse and worse and worse over the years. That's one of the main reasons why I divorced her. I just couldn't deal with it. It got to the point where, on weekdays she'd go out, and I guess the George person is one of the people she had met, because I separated at one point, went over to my parents' house to live for a few months, and I guess she met him over at the pool place or something like that. But I'd come back and we were in therapy trying to work it out, and on a weeknight when he's got school the next day, I've got work the next day. I mean, she was out till 3 o'clock in the morning when the bar closes, and she'd bring people back over on the back porch. I mean, one time some random person walked in my house and started screaming for Sarah at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when we're trying to sleep. I mean, I just couldn't get over it.
So did you used to live here?
No. I bought her out of our house.
Okay.
I was going to just sell it and move because I kind of want to go back to College Park, which is where I'm from. But
Right.
I thought it would be maybe easier for Lucas if I just bought her out and kept that house so he had a little bit of continuancy, kind of.
Understandable.
So that's what I ended up doing. And then she moved right down the street here. So.
And how long would you say the alcoholism has been a part of her life?
I mean, it's always been a part of her life. It seemed to have gotten worse and worse. I think more or less kind of since we had Lucas. And I think a lot of it was the fact that she kind of, I guess, maybe felt trapped or something.
Okay.
That, I mean, before that, I mean, whenever she wanted, you're outside having a drink. Oh, I want to go play pool. You go over across the street, you play pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not happening anymore when she got a kid.
Right.
So
How old's your son?
he is 9. So, but I mean, she started just getting really angry when she drank a lot. She said last night she fell asleep. There were plenty of times where she just basically passed out from drinking. So,
So you've witnessed her pass out from drinking?
Oh
yeah. Okay. And when she passes out, is she like out cold?
Oh, she's out.
Like how difficult would it be to like wake her?
Well, I mean, if I were to like shake her or something,
Right.
I could probably wake her up. But me making a phone call or noise probably wouldn't do it.
Okay. And would she be like in the middle of doing something and just like out cold, or would she go to bed?
Yeah,
and
it would
just
be
out cold?
Yeah, she wouldn't like fall over or anything. It would be more of a lay down and then she just out.
Right. Okay. What do you know about her and George's relationship, if anything?
It was. I mean, I think she had him arrested like 5 or 6 times for domestic violence. I mean, he's stuck a steak knife in the back of her leg one time.
Okay.
Single.
So has he always been the one that gets arrested, or has she ever?
She was also one of the times.
Okay.
One of the times, both of them were arrested. But all the others have been him. But the very next day, she's in there trying to get him bailed out. So
Right.
I don't know. Basically, they get drunk, they get in a fight, she gets upset, she calls the cops. I mean, granted, I saw lots of black eyes, bruises.
On her?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, there definitely was. Now,
Would you see George as much as you would see him or her?
I hardly ever saw him.
You hardly
I honestly, I didn't like being around either one of them,
Right.
to be honest, and him more so. So,
Why is that?
just I don't know. It's my ex-wife. She made me really mad with everything. How the whole divorce went down, and just, I mean, the way she acted and the way she changed and the way they both are. I mean, what it's done to Lucas and everything else. He's nobody I cared to see. Let me put it that way. I mean.
Okay. All right. So let's break some of this down. Okay. About this. All right. But first, I want to address what we've been talking about in chat, because people might not look at chat when they are watching the replay. So but I want to put this out there because I want you guys I want everybody to hear me. Okay. So Florida is very, very bendy, as it were, flexible about what they will release as far as jail calls go. Okay. The only reason why you can't get the jail calls now for Sarah Boone is because she's still awaiting trial. They do have some limits. Okay. those will become part of public record, and people will be able to request them once her trial is over. Okay, whether she's convicted or not, you can still get them. Now, for me personally, I did take a look at some of the call logs, visitation logs, like the video visits. And I think that the video visits are going to line up very similarly with the calls, the jail calls. There are a lot of calls that are professional visits, which obviously would be redacted. We wouldn't have access to those. Those are privileged conversations. But I saw a lot of calls between video visits with Brian, her ex-husband, and their son. Okay. And I feel like the jail calls would be similar. There's a few calls that are in there that I don't know who they are. They're friends that are video visits. They're listed, but we're talking about if she made, 2 calls a day for in a month, that's 60 jail calls. Of those 60 jail calls, I would say probably 5 might be playable. I personally will not play any jail calls or video visits with her and her son. He is an innocent. He is a minor, and he had nothing to do with this. It's not his fault who his mom is. It's not, and I will not put him out there like that. And I do think that that is the bulk of the calls. So there's that. Now, to what we just heard. I think that some of the things that Brian has to say here about Sarah's character are very interesting, and her habits. For example, one thing that he said is that she is known to be, she's not a violent person, generally speaking, and never to this extent, he said, but when she drinks, she is. The other thing that's particularly interesting to me is that she doesn't just she doesn't just pass out, in the middle of doing something when she's highly intoxicated and go to sleep. She goes to bed, and then, so this idea of her accidentally falling asleep is, like I've been saying all along, like most of us have been saying all along, utter poppycock also. And this is where Brian becomes a double-edged sword, okay? When he gets up there to testify, all right, whether he's called by the state or by the defense, but let's say, for example, he's called by the defense, which we know that he is, okay? He's on their list. He is not going to be able to testify to anything that Sarah told him about George. These would only be things that he himself has firsthand knowledge of. So he would be able to testify to any bruises, any marks that he saw on Sarah or on George. Okay. He would be able to testify, kind of like what he said here, is that just his overall impression of the situation, George isn't somebody that he would want to deal with. And basically, at the end of the day, the only reason why he's dealing with Sarah is because she is the mother of his child and he has to deal with her. That's pretty much his sentiments. So there's that. I don't, the defense is going to want to be very, very careful about the questions that they ask him on direct. And the reason why, as we learned from Alex Murdaugh's trial, that when you are questioning somebody, whether it is on direct, but it's mainly for direct, okay? Cross-examination is based on the line of questioning in direct examination, okay? there's a very little wiggle room, but there's some wiggle room there. So they need to be very careful in the way that they question Brian on direct examination, because they definitely do not want to open the door on cross examination for Brian to spill all the tea and all the beans about Sarah and his relationship. They're kind of, for the defense, they're going to want to limit that. Brian is a dicey character, and I would be really careful if I were either side how I questioned him. And also, you have to think about it too. And this is going to come out. So if he speaks negatively of Sarah, right, the defense is going to come back with, well, they're divorced. And, those, most exes can get along enough where they can, properly co-parent, but that's about the extent of it. They don't actually like each other anymore. That's why they're divorced. So there's always that, but let's see what else he's got to say.
It's not like I really went out of my way to it's just.
When you guys do drop-offs or anything, is it always through the school, or would you have to come here and see them, or no?
No, it's pretty much always during the school. Now sometimes she would come over or something like that. Sometimes he would be driving, but he would just stay in the car. She would come in, so I really wouldn't see him.
So it's not like you have conversations with George. Okay.
No, maybe a few times when they've drunkenly called me at night because she was telling me she needed to escape because of whatever's going on, or she's put him on the phone, but I don't know.
When's the last incident that you recall of there being a domestic dispute between her and George?
She told me a week ago she had to escape from the house and wanted me to come pick her up. I told her I wasn't going to because I'm just tired of it happening.
Right.
It was midnight. Child's trying to sleep, and just
right.
Honestly, I don't always believe her when she said these things were going on. And
she called you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and apparently she went back inside and slept well. Was in a fine mood the next day. I guess didn't really remember calling me, so I don't know if it was just
brought up again?
If it was just she wanted to come over to. I don't know. She keeps on trying to come over to hang out or something like that, or she'll come over to spend time with Lucas rather than actually just having him over here like she's supposed to. But she wants to come over there and play with him, and so I'm not sure how real that was. Last time I know there was an actual physical confrontation. It's probably been a little while because this last time George got arrested, I know he was on pre-trial, whatever, something. I don't know. He had a parole officer. He had a domestic violence class. He's
So that's the last time. Basically, the last time he was arrested was the last physical altercation that you recall.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. So let me see this really quickly. KPM says defense will use him for the abuse story Sarah told him. Okay. He can only say that Sarah told him that it's really dicey. There are exceptions to the hearsay rule, okay? But because in this situation, anything that Brian would testify about respective to the abuse would not be an exception to the hearsay rule, I don't think. Again, I am not an attorney, but this is what I have learned from watching all the trials, okay? Is because what he would be testifying to goes to the truth of the matter, which is the battered spouse defense. And while I'm on that subject, I want to explain something because it is a little bit complicated about who has the burden of proof. Okay. We're going to listen to this and then we'll talk about that. Okay. Because I want you guys, well, yes, Lotus Spider, the prosecution could absolutely call him as a witness, and here's why, and they will. It's possible that Brian Boone could be on both the state and the defense's witness list for two different reasons. First of all, the state would call him because he is an actual witness. Before Sarah called 911, she called Brian. Brian had been calling her because it was her day to pick up their son from school. And apparently she's pretty flaky and not reliable. So he kept calling her, and she finally returned his phone call. Okay. And then he came over. So in that sense, he is a witness to what occurred that morning prior to Sarah calling 911. Okay. That's where he would come in for the state. There might be more to it, but just, basically that's the deal with him as a witness for the state. Now, for the defense, where it becomes sticky and the hearsay rule is that he would not be able to talk about anything, like he wouldn't be able to say what Sarah told him exactly. He could say, she called me and asked me to pick her up because they were arguing. Okay, he cannot testify to what Sarah said they were arguing about, only that they were arguing and that's it, and that he came to pick her up. Okay, but I do think that it's very interesting that he says that he didn't believe Sarah every single time she called. Also, I think it's interesting and it doesn't really make sense. And I wish that they would have inquired more, because why would Sarah, if Sarah is calling Brian because she wants to escape, because her and George are arguing, George, whatever the situation is, she wants out, why would she put George on the phone? I'd like to know the answers to that. And I don't understand why they don't ask more. It just bothers me. It feels like, I already said this last time. I'm not going to say it again. Yeah, I am. I have to, because I already said it and I'm not going to be that person. To me, it seems like I'm not saying that the detectives didn't do their job or they didn't do a good job. But to me, it feels a little bit like they were aware of the calls for service out to this house when they arrived. They knew that. They already had that information. They can look that up. After they talked to the neighbors, the apartment manager, Brian, etc., they realized that this is a situation of domestic violence that's gone on for some time between Sarah and George, both of them being both the perpetrator and the victim at different times. And I think that they took it like this is like one of those statistics and didn't dig any deeper. And that is what I wish that they would have. Because I think that those questions, if they would have probed a little bit more, I think we would have a better understanding of what was going on in that house. And I just think I don't know, it just bothers me that they didn't. Maybe it bothers me because I'm just hella nosy. I don't know. All right, here we go.
I don't know for sure, but I think so.
And you have any idea what year or month that may have been?
Back a few months, maybe.
A few months ago?
Yeah, something like that, maybe. I don't think it was incredibly long.
Okay. Like around the holidays of last year, before the holidays?
I think it was probably before the holidays. I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Because oddly enough, there was like a 3-week period where she actually had Lucas all the time she was supposed to, because he was in jail for a month or something like that.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't let him out.
Yeah. And you said when she drinks that she can get physically aggressive.
She can. I mean, she did it to me a lot, where she'd hit me and stuff like that. I mean, she's tiny. I
yeah.
mean,
what do you mean hit though? Like open hand, smack you or like try and punch you?
Yeah, she'd punch me. I mean, more arms. She many times would use her claws. I mean, I had scratches on my neck at times, on my arms. I mean, things like that where she'd dig with her claws.
Okay.
I never got that drunk, and I had restraint. I never touched her back. I think George didn't have that restraint, and at times he would hurt her back. So for all I know, all the times he got arrested, she started it. I don't know. I wasn't there, so. But I know she could get violent at times.
Okay.
Bingo. And there it is. There it is. That's going to be highly problematic for a battered spouse syndrome defense. Highly problematic. When you have somebody who has known another person for 23 years or 20 years, something like that, and they say that when they were together and she would drink, that she would scratch him, claw him, dig her nails in, and that he exercised restraint and never hit her back. Now, and that maybe George didn't, and George didn't always exercise restraint. But the last sentence, let's just rewind that and hear that again, because that is big. All right, here we go. Let's just go back a little bit and hear that.
I never got that drunk, and I had restraint. I never touched her back. I think George didn't have that restraint, and at times he would hurt her back. So for all I know, all the times he got arrested, she started it. I don't know.
For all I know, all the times that he got arrested, she started it. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And there's this. Lotus Spider says she also asked the neighbors not to interfere if they had a fight. And that's another thing. It's that there's a, see, the problem with Sarah is, okay, so Sunday Doodle says hearsay. Brian is allowed to testify to something that he witnessed firsthand. Okay. He can testify that Sarah clawed him, that Sarah was violent, that he never hit her back. He can testify to that. Will he be? This is what's going to be difficult. See, the defense definitely doesn't want this piece of evidence in to be admitted, right? And the only reason that but it's important, and he is a witness. He was a witness to the events that day. And so that's why they're talking to him, and that's why they're trying to ascertain what's going on. And he's allowed to talk about his experience. And so once that happens, once he's testifying, I think this is going to come in its entirety. And I think the jury is going to hear that last little part. Maybe not. Maybe Owens will say, no, I object. It's he's not an expert witness, and therefore only witnesses that are expert witnesses can give an opinion. Regular folks who are not expert witnesses cannot offer opinions. So, at the end of the day, this is what's going to happen. The jury is going to hear what the jury is going to hear, and it's going to be up to each individual juror to decide what value and weight they give to each piece of evidence and testimony as it's admitted. And that's that. And there will be, I would imagine, just, if there are 12 jurors, okay, and they're all going to hear this. They're all hearing the exact same thing. Okay. But they all will put different weight on it. And I would imagine that at least a couple of those jurors are going to hear what Brian says and say, I don't put as much weight on the things that he's saying about Sarah because he is an ex and he might be feeling a little salty. She's moved on. I'm just giving an example, Yana. 6. Okay. So out of those 6, 3 jurors, I'm going to have to look this up. I need to see where you guys are. I know that they have that ability to have 6 jurors, but I'm just curious if that's the deal. I'm going to find out though. All right. I will find out. So we'll see. All right, let's keep going. And then we're going to talk about this battered spouse situation because there's something I want to explain. All right, here we go.
I wasn't there, so, but I know she could get violent at times.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. It wasn't anything too, I don't know, too much. I mean, just.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't feel like she was a huge threat. I'm assuming, right?
No.
Yeah. Like you could handle yourself.
Yes.
Does she drink daily?
I think pretty much.
Okay. And do you know like her drink of choice?
That would be vodka.
Vodka.
Or wine, but vodka is the big one.
And does she or George have a job?
No. She hasn't worked for over 2 years. Well, I guess you could maybe call what he's got a job. He worked at the Ace Hardware up across the street here.
Okay.
Which is now going out of business.
Okay.
He kind of off and on worked there. When he did work, it was 15, 20 hours a week, something like that. I mean, my alimony and stuff basically pays for where they lived. So, gotcha. I mean, they didn't need a ton, but I mean, she was always calling to borrow money, and but it's been like 2 years since she got a job. She keeps on telling me she's looking. She's always finding the good opportunities and everything, but
right.
Okay.
Do you want to take it?
It's my dad. Just one second. Over. Hey. Well, just wait. I'm talking with the detectives right now, and I should be heading out here soon. So I can come get him, okay? Is John out? Oh, okay. Is he awake? Okay, good.
So to answer this question, Rise of Phoenix says, didn't Sarah have a job as a waitress but got fired? Listen, I mean, she clearly worked because he said she hasn't worked in 2 years, not she's never worked. So she obviously had a job prior. She just hasn't had a job for 2 years. So who knows? But I always find it interesting when people say, like Sarah calling Brian to borrow money. How are you going to pay it back? That's my thing. Like you don't work. You're relying on his income, okay? And you're relying on income from George when George does work, but at this point in time, George wasn't working. So what money are you going to use to be paying Brian back? Like, come on. Come on, Sarah.
Okay, well, I should be up there very soon. Okay, bye. Sorry.
Okay. We were just on the phone with someone. Okay. When you came over here, I know you said that she called you freaking out saying he was dead. Did she give you any more, like, did you ask why or how?
She told me that they were playing last night or something, and he got in the suitcase and she fell asleep.
Okay.
That's all she told me, so I don't know anything beyond that.
Okay.
And I really didn't talk to her much because I came inside. I told her you need to call the police, and then I came back out, and I think she went on the back porch to smoke a cigarette, so I didn't even really talk with her much.
Oh, like she was going outside to... Did you see her take a cigarette?
Yeah, she was going outside with I also know when the cops showed up, she kept on telling them she had a cigarette burning out there, and she needed to go put it out.
Okay.
But they were...
Now, this is interesting because I would imagine that this was a high priority call. Okay. Because I don't think that the the dispatchers understood what they were dealing with here, which is why they were telling Sarah to give him CPR. Okay. I think what they thought they had at this house was an unresponsive male, not a DOA. Okay. And, which you know what I mean. I just didn't want to say it because I feel bad. But I think they thought that they had somebody who was unresponsive, which is why they were telling Sarah and instructing Sarah to give him CPR. Okay. And I cannot imagine, I would be interested in finding out exactly what time that call was made and what time the first responders show up. Because I can tell you from listening to that 911 call, okay, that 911 call was what, 8 minutes and 32 seconds, something like that, right? And I think it's at the last minute and a half when she's yelling, "They're here." So what is that? It took them 7 minutes to get there. And I just, if there was already a cigarette burning, I smoke. Okay. We all know this. And I think that it takes me somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes to smoke a cigarette. Okay. Which means that either she was still smoking the same cigarette when the police arrived, or she lit up a second one, which tells me that it's likely that when we're hearing any of the huffing and the puffing, right, on the phone, which was very little, it wasn't actually huffing and puffing. It sounds like she's smoking, to be honest with you. Oh, wow, Yana, I didn't know that. Okay, so Yana says, I looked it up again. In Florida, unless it's the death penalty is a possibility, there's a jury of 6. If the death penalty is a possibility, are a jury of 12. That's interesting. I didn't know that. No, Sarah was smoking. So I'm thinking that that cigarette that was still burning out there is the cigarette she was smoking on 911. That's what I'm trying to say. So Susie asks when they got there, were his ribs broken? When I read his autopsy report, and I did it on a couple of lives back, I read it out. There's no mention of that in his autopsy. So I don't think she was doing I don't think she was doing CPR. I think she was smoking on that 911 call. That's what I think she was doing. And I just feel like I think so too, Rachel. I think they need 12 jurors. But that's another thing. Okay, so Brian talks about her drink of choice, which is vodka. And there is a huge difference in taste between, I don't think I have to state the obvious, but if you've never had one or the other, you might not know. There's a difference in taste between wine and vodka. Absolutely. Okay. And it sounds odd that you would be, my drink of choice is vodka, but I'll take wine. You know, I would, if when I drink, I prefer liquor, and I actually do like vodka. But when I'm hanging out with people who, like, I had neighbors when I lived in Texas that we used to go and hang out with all the time, and they were beer and wine drinkers. So when we hung out with them, I would, drink wine. But at my own house, if I was choosing, it would be alcohol or liquor. I would be vodka. I wouldn't choose wine. So it's odd to me that there's no mention. I'm curious about the inventory of the house, as it were. That's what I want to see. And Coolest. Thank you, Lariah, for being a member for 2 months. I appreciate your support, babe. Thank you so much. Brat says, that's another thing with her doing CPR, being a regular smoker. We'd have heard the struggle, maybe. I mean, I had to do CPR when I did daycare, so I never thought she was doing it anyway. You would be, okay, so you would be surprised about Sarah. But, or smokers. Like, I'm a smoker, but I can run and I don't hawk up a lung. I can work out and not cough. So, but that's because I've been doing it so long. Sarah, I feel like she would have coughed. I mean, look how she had cotton mouth and she'd only been outside talking to the cops for like, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe 45 minutes at the most, you know? So I feel like, yeah, she wasn't doing CPR. And yes, Little Red, it would have been too late for CPR. So then why the pretense? Why pretend that she was doing CPR and why screaming? You hear her screaming to the phone, breathe. You know? So I'm curious about that, you know? Curious about all of these things. I wonder, you know, all right, here we go.
Keeping her away from stuff, I guess.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, she wanted me to come back there with her. I was like, I'm going out here. I don't really want to be in here, so.
Right. And that's when she went to call 911.
Well, she called 911 while I was in there. I was standing right in the foyer area.
Okay.
And I mean, it was apparently a pretty quick conversation, and that's when she started to go that way, and I just told her I'm going out front. So.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. So
Hold
they were
the phone.
playing, and she.
Excuse me, Detective Kepler. It was a pretty quick conversation. Okay. In the scheme of things, I would not consider an 8-minute phone call a long conversation. Okay. But I would not say that it was a quick conversation. And here he never heard her counting. He never heard her scream, breathe, none of that. I mean, I don't know why I'm overanalyzing this part. In the scheme of things, obviously, even if she'd done CPR, it wouldn't have worked. So I don't even know why I'm focused on this. I need to move on.
Went upstairs and went to bed.
I don't know where she went. She just told me she went to sleep.
Or she went to sleep. Okay. You don't know where.
I don't know where.
You didn't ask more questions.
I didn't ask more questions. I leave that to you guys.
Yeah. No problem.
Listen, Detective Kepler, now I don't want to tell anybody how to do their job, and I don't want to tell you your business, but quite frankly, I don't think you should be using that judgy tone when with regard to him asking follow-up questions. That is your job. And there's a whole lot of follow-up questions you could have asked, but you didn't. And I get cutting you some slack because I know what it's like to be pregnant. So, but still. You should be arrested for that damn
I'll let you know
ringtone
when
alone.
I'm done talking to these guys, okay? Hello? That's okay. All right. Never mind. Okay, bye.
So Coolest Reviews asks how long was he in the suitcase again? Like 11 hours, 11 to 12 hours, somewhere in that vicinity. Hell, she might have been still drunk. Who knows? The way she drank out of that faucet on the side of the apartment tells me that was not her first rodeo drinking outside. Listen, I'm a Gen X kid. We were always drinking out of the hose. I didn't think anything of it. But other than it was just a little bit of like, okay, Sarah, you're that thirsty and nobody could get her any water for Pete's sake. There's a whole apartment manager being interviewed. They don't, they couldn't bring her a cup of water from inside the apartment manager's office. I know they have a refrigerator for Pete's sake, or a sink and a paper cup.
I'll call you when I'm leaving. really been over here lately.
So it's been a long time.
It's probably been at least weeks, maybe.
Does Lucas play baseball or anything yet?
We've tried to get him into sports. He's not a big sports person, really.
Did you ever play baseball?
He didn't play baseball. Well, I mean, I had him like a t-ball set and stuff like that, and we'd play catch.
Is it like a plastic t-ball set, or what kind of equipment did you have?
Oh, no, this is when he was like 3 years old. It was a little plastic thing I had in the backyard.
Did you ever buy him any baseball bats or anything?
I bought one for over here that Sarah said for Lucas and George to like play with or something. That was like a year ago or something, maybe.
What kind of bat was it? Was it a wood bat?
Yeah, it was a wooden bat. I think it was like a junior size thingy. I don't know. It's something that I looked like kind of for his height or something, I think.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Okay. Would you mind if I took a picture of your call log to show
Sure.
that you've all the
Do you just want to
attempts?
see hers, or you, like zoomed in on hers so you can see all those?
Yeah, that's perfect. So I'd say starting from today. I know her phone.
Did you text with her at all today?
Not today. I don't think I did today at all.
Sorry.
That was last night. She was drunkenly texting me.
Last night?
Yeah.
What time?
That was 11 o'clock at night. I think that was
Last night was Sunday. Does it say?
Oh, that's Saturday. Never mind.
Saturday.
That was Saturday night when I was watching the baseball game.
Okay.
Yesterday, which is that, she said her account was in the negative, so I transferred her a little bit of money to get her out of the negative.
She sent you. Oh, that was the morning. Okay, so she thanked you at 11:56 that morning.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What's the last thank you? What time? Okay, so just a few
Yeah, and
times.
then that one at
She left
12:01.
at 12:01. Okay, so afternoon, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the calls. Do you need like?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yep, I'll start from the top where it has her information. Go ahead. You could scroll down, and that's
Okay.
fine. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Has Lucas ever told you anything about her, like witnessing anything between her and George?
He's heard arguments and things like that.
Okay.
He's not a big fan of staying over here, honestly.
Okay.
Just because they get in arguments and stuff like that. I don't think they've ever had a physical fight in front of him,
Okay.
but I know there's been arguments he's told me about.
Okay.
There's been times where I think things were starting to get to that point,
Mm-hmm.
and she has called me to come pick him up
Okay.
and bring him back over to my house. So
Okay.
she's generally pretty good about having me come get him if, which leads to me not having a life because I can't ever do anything.
Right.
So I can't go anywhere because I'm too worried about something happening and me having to be over here quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, do you know if she's ever had any issues with drugs in the past?
To my knowledge, she's never really been a drug person. She's big on alcohol, but I don't think she's ever done. I mean, I think she told me like one time, like back before we got divorced, that at I don't know, this bar thing over there across the street near the Walgreens, whatever it's called.
Okay.
I've never been there, but somebody gave her a little bit of cocaine, like 2 years ago or something like that. But I've never known her to do drugs.
What about George?
No clue whatsoever. That
She's never
She's
complained
never-
to you.
no, that's not to say these things don't happen, because I try to keep myself out of and away from
That.
them in general. But
Right.
Which vehicle is yours?
the Prius right up here.
In front of us.
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
That is what I got sent.
Oh,
I know it looks like a vanity thing. No, that's just this last time they, I guess, sent me a new plate, and that's what was on it.
Awesome. So you can make that up whatever you want it to be.
I could.
Tell them it's for racing. You're gonna.
Yeah, I know you're racing.
Yes, racing in
Your
my Prius.
I'm not saying you win. I'm just saying race.
Oh man. Okay. Anything else, Scott? Okay. Is there anything else that you think is important for us to know that we have not asked you about either George or Sarah?
I don't think so.
When I mean, you guys have been separated for what do you say, 5?
We've been divorced about 1.5 years. We were separated a good 8 months before that or so.
So
And we had been separated one other time before that, before we got back together, and we're trying to do therapy, which didn't work at all. So,
How long has she been living in this apartment?
ever since we got divorced. So,
Just a year and a half ago?
no, longer than that then. Because I took over the house, I moved in there, and she moved here. Because I told her I was buying her out of the house. So I guess it has been longer than that. I think she just said she renewed, so maybe just past 2 years.
Okay.
That may be right.
I think she said she's been here like 4 years.
no, she's been with George. I don't remember what she said.
Yeah, she was with George before we were divorced. So
Yeah. Okay. And any time that you recall when you guys were together, and she would be drunk, did she always like resort to getting angry? Like, is she an angry drunk, or would she like?
her main problem is she can't stop.
Okay.
I mean, she can't go out and have a glass of wine with dinner.
Right.
That's not a thing she can do, because once she starts drinking, she will continue drinking basically until she out.
Goes to sleep.
Yeah.
If she were to be drunk, would she like want to play games with you? Like, did you guys?
Oh, there's a really good period where she is very good, but then she drinks past that and she gets into the angry bits.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you just raise your right hand for me? Do you promise and swear everything we've talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This ends the recording 15:52 hours. Today's date is March 1st, 2020. The time now is approximately 16:41 hours. This is in reference to Orange County case number 20-017904. I am on the phone with, can you state your name, sir?
Brian Boone.
And I have a couple follow-up questions that I wanted to ask Brian Boone in reference to this case. Brian, just give me your date of birth for me. Okay. And do you promise and swear everything we're going to talk about is going to be true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So we had a conversation about the incident and your involvement.
Okay. Can I just say that, Yana, I'm so sorry that I misinterpreted what you were asking. I don't know. There's probably a YouTube video on it. Maybe it's a Chrome setting or your browser setting. That's all that I can think of. But also, I wanted to say that hearing Brian say Sarah's an okay to drink, and then and she's fun, and then she drinks that past, she has that last drink or drinks past that point, and then she becomes angry and violent. I've been saying that for months, and and I feel like I probably learned that from Brian. I'm not going to say that that I know things or anything like that, but just hearing him say it, hearing him, just hearing him say it validates me, that I at least am retaining information that I've learned, even if I don't remember where I learned it from. So, woo! And this is a good point. Jenny says, I'm a little behind, but I wanted to add the defense cannot solicit statements made by Sarah because of hearsay, and it is a self-serving statement of the defendant. That is correct. That's a much better way to put it than however my explanation was. But yes, that's correct. Sarah has, they're self-serving. And the thing is that they're not going to allow that in. Tanika says, okay, so if they moved there in 2018, that tracks when the 911 call started. So it sounds like 2017, they did not live together. Yeah, I don't think that they did live together. So that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Okay, this is the second part of Jenny's comment. The state can solicit hearsay from Brian of Sarah's statements because they would be statements of a party opponent. There you go. So, all right, okay. Let's finish listening to what else Brian has to say.
A few days ago, earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday. And after looking through Sarah's call logs, I noticed that she called you on February 23rd, which would be the Sunday night at around 23:46 hours, and that's military time, but in normal time, that's 11:46 hours. Do you recall that phone call?
I do, well, somewhat. I was asleep when she called. So she woke me up. I was half asleep when I was talking to her. She did sound very inebriated.
Okay.
I don't remember what all she said. I'm kind of used to her calling drunk late at night and things like that, so it didn't faze me as anything out of the ordinary. I basically just kind of got her off the phone and told her I'm going back to sleep and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. You said that she sounded inebriated, like she was drunk?
Yeah, I mean, she didn't sound like, it's hard. I was half asleep at the time. I don't think I remember hearing anything bad in the background or anything that would have caused me concern, but I don't really remember it that well.
Okay. But she was under the influence of alcohol based off of your knowledge of just knowing her and knowing when she's not under the influence.
Yeah. As soon as I heard her start talking, I almost kind of just zoned out away from it because she says all kinds of nonsense when she does this late at night, and I was trying to get her off the phone. So.
Okay, I want to rewind it to where they talk about the time, because I want to show you guys something. So give me just a second, okay? Okay, so 11:46 p.m. All right. So let me show you guys this really quick. This is from the complaint, and it talks about when they downloaded the phone. Let's see. While the cell phone was being downloaded, 2 videos are found on the cell phone. The first video being recorded February 24th, 2020 at 23:12 hours. So that is 11:12 p.m. George repeatedly yelling and all this. Okay. Then, okay, let me see. The second video began on February 24th, 2020. There's something missing right here. Hold on. Yeah. See, the hours is missing. But if she called this video, I know they talk about it being 11 minutes apart. So give me just a second. I know that I read that they were 11 minutes apart. So if the first video was 2 minutes and 3 seconds long, and it started at 23:12, that puts it at roughly 23:14. And if that plus 11, I think there's 11 minutes between the other one. I know that I read that somewhere. So that would be 24, 25, 11:25. So roughly what? 15 minutes later, she calls Brian. Crystal says, so nobody has the second one. Okay. I'm sure. Let me just look something up really quick. Let me open up another tab. I can't tell, honestly, if, well, there's a way to tell, so I'm going to look it up right now. All right. So on Fox 35 Orlando, they have the suitcase video. The total duration of the video is 2 minutes, 31 seconds. Okay. However, there is an introduction that is 5 seconds. So let me do that math really quick. That's 2 minutes, 26 seconds, right? And according to the complaint, one video is 2 minutes and 3 seconds long. And the other video, the second video, is 22 seconds long. So that's right around the same time. It's the video on the on Fox Orlando is a few seconds longer than the total. So I think what they did on Fox 35 Orlando's YouTube channel when they posted the video is they posted both videos together. So I think they're put together. So I think we've seen, if you've watched that video, I think if you've watched a 2 minute and 30 second or whatever video, then likely what you've seen is both of those videos. That's it. That's where I heard it. Thank you, Tanika. Chelsea says it in the interview too. They were discussing 5 minutes. She said that there are 11 minutes between the videos. Yes, in the interrogation video. I knew I didn't pull that out of I didn't just make that up. I knew I heard that somewhere. Thank you for reminding me. So after she made both of these videos, she then called Brian, which I just think is interesting. Yeah. We've all seen the second one. If you've watched what's known as the quote unquote suitcase video. If you've searched it on YouTube, it is both of the videos that were taken on Sarah's phone, but they're just combined and not instead of two separate videos. So I'm curious as to see. I really wonder, because when we listened last night to the doctor on Vinnie Politan Live, okay, it did not take all the, okay, so the total time they think that George was in the suitcase was roughly 11 hours, okay? But the doctor said it does not take 11, it wouldn't have taken him 11 hours to die. It would have been within minutes, which makes me wonder if, like some have suggested, and this is a theory that is based in fact, that Sarah actually was downstairs the entire time, meaning she heard George pass away. And I'm wondering now if the reason that she called Brian is because, you know, she had that that moment, you know. Let me do my best Morgan Freeman voice. Let me try. It was in that moment Sarah knew she fucked up. I wonder if I wonder if that's what that was about. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing this one and start sharing this one over here. Okay. Let's get back to this and let's rewind it just a little bit so we can sort of hear. Low Red, thank you for being a member for 9 months. Low Red says, oh my God, we've been together for 9 months. Where's the baby at? Thank you, Brat. I appreciate that. I don't know where that baby's at. This baby factory is closed. All right, let's rewind it just a little bit. Oh, we are right. Rewounded where we need to be. Okay. All right, here we go.
Do you recall that phone call?
I do, well, somewhat. I was asleep when she called. So she woke me up. I was half asleep when I was talking to her. She did sound very inebriated.
Okay.
I don't remember what all she said. I'm kind of used to her calling drunk late at night and things like that, so it didn't faze me as anything out of the ordinary. I basically just kind of got her off the phone and told her I'm going back to sleep and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. You said that she sounded inebriated, like she was drunk?
Yeah, I mean, she didn't sound like, it's hard. I was half asleep at the time. I don't think I remember hearing anything bad in the background or anything that would have caused me concern, but I don't really remember it that well.
Okay. But she was under the influence of alcohol based off of your knowledge of just knowing her and knowing when she's not under the influence.
Yeah. As soon as I heard her start talking, I almost kind of just zoned out away from it because she says all kinds of nonsense when she does this late at night, and just I was trying to get her off the phone so I could go back to sleep. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm on the phone right now. You need to get yourself dried off. Get yourself dried off. Your pajamas are right here, okay? Hold on, buddy. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember her saying anything specifically about George?
I don't think so. I don't really remember. I really don't remember much of the conversation, honestly.
Okay, I appreciate it. Okay, and the phone conversation lasted for a little over 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken?
May have been, yeah.
Okay. And you said that is kind of normal for her to call you late at night or just kind of whenever she's under the influence and she's kind of just babbling on and you have to try and get her off the phone
Yeah,
if you don't.
yeah, it's a thing that happens.
Okay. Okay, so you can't remember anything specific about what she may or may not have said, but she did sound inebriated. Does that sound correct?
Detective Chelsea, I think we have established that Sarah was drunker than Cooter Brown, okay? I don't understand why you're focused on that so much and why you're not asking him why did he delete that call. Does that mean that there's something nefarious? No. But it's not so much the answer, it's the reaction to the question that you're looking for. And I know I don't have to tell you this. You're a detective. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear anything in the background.
Not that.
As far as like
remember,
arguing or
no.
yelling or anything like that, you couldn't hear any of that.
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you know where she was located? Did she ever say?
I was assuming she was at home.
Okay, but she didn't say.
I mean, she didn't have a lot of money. She didn't really go out anywhere, so I assumed she was at home.
Okay. But you wouldn't know where in the house she may have been.
No.
Okay, she didn't give you that information. Okay.
Not that I remember. It's possible she said something. I don't really remember though.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you think is important for me to know about that phone conversation?
I don't think so.
Do you guys talk often? Like in a day's time? Like, do you guys talk daily?
More than I would like. Normally, anytime I'm calling her, it's to find out if she's actually going to be picking the child up like she's supposed to.
Right.
Like that next morning with me constantly calling.
Right.
She'll call to talk to Lucas, or sometimes when she's drunk, or she wants me to come pick her up because she's scared of George, or any number of different things.
Okay, you're kind of like her call person, like she.
Yeah. It's gotten very old over the last couple of years, so I've started to just kind of ignore what she's saying and just try to get her gone as soon as possible.
Right.
Because,
Wow.
honestly, for a long time, I tried to help her out, give her refuge, get away from him, and she just kept bringing him back, and I eventually just gave up on the situation, so.
Right. Okay. All right. Do you promise and swear everything that we have talked about has been true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. This ends the recording at 16:47 hours.
Thank you, mentor lawyer, for putting that up. So, Coolest Reviews, you asked what did George actually die of? What he died of, his actual cause of death, was positional asphyxiation. So essentially, that is when the body, a person is laying in a position that constricts their breathing. And so it was the fact that George was scrunched up in a suitcase and, his lungs couldn't expand completely, nor could his diaphragm. So that, caused him to have trouble breathing, on top of which he had a fairly high blood alcohol level. And so that also lowered his respirations. And then on top of it, what he was in. So even though the suitcase is made of cloth, it's rather thick, durable cloth, so not super breathable. So even as he is breathing and he's inhaling the oxygen, right, or inhaling and then taking in the air and then exhaling, carbon dioxide, there's no new fresh air to exchange. So that's how he died. I think that what we're picking up, or just maybe this is just me, what I'm picking up from Brian is that, let me quote Jimmy Buffett. The child, while he loves his son, this has nothing to do with his love of his son or anything to do with his son. But Jimmy Buffett sings about a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling. Okay. And when you have children and with somebody and it doesn't work out, it's not the child's fault, but children can be a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling. And I think that Brian, how do I put this, puts up with Sarah and deals with her because of Lucas. That's what I think of their son together. I do think it's interesting that he doesn't remember the context of the call. Okay. However, I will say that it took me a few times listening to that suitcase videos because there's two of them, listening to both those suitcase videos before I could make out actually what Sarah was saying. And so if she sounded that way when she recorded that video, and then about 15 minutes later, she called Brian, do you think that she had one more drink or finished a drink? I mean, it's not like she sobered up. It's very possible that I think it's very possible that she might have said something about George. It's possible, but it was unintelligible. And I think that there is an element of nervousness there. Okay. I don't think it seems to me, like I said, like he really just puts up with and deals with Sarah because of their child. And now look what she's got him involved in. Okay. On top of which, I know that he talks about that he only saw his legs hanging out, but I'm going to tell you, when I went to the funeral home to identify my mom, I wanted to hold her hand. So I lifted the sheet. Now, in the moment that I did it, did I see all the things? No, I didn't. My brain just wouldn't go there. Okay. But after I left, on the way home, it all hit me. So I'm wondering if some of that, what we're hearing from Brian in these initial interviews, is, especially now that he's at the house, it's been a minute, he probably is now registering what he's seeing. I think he may have actually seen George in that suitcase. And I think it just all caught up with him. And so I think that's what we're hearing. Why I am not a person who deletes things off of my phone. In fact, right now, if they were to download my phone, or if they were just to open my phone, I have 3,477 email notifications. Okay. I clearly need to learn how to delete things off of my phone. I don't delete call logs. I don't delete texts, none of that. And so I don't know what kind of phone he has and how that got deleted, but nothing else. I don't know. So I think that I think what we're getting from Brian is like like Cartman You know, when Cartman is singing Kyle's mom, and then Kyle's mom walks behind him, and he's just doing the big finish, you know, and then he realizes she's standing behind him, and he goes, "Hold on, let me take a drink. I want to get Cartman correct." And he goes, "Oh, fuck," like that. I feel like we're in the middle of Brian's "oh, fuck" moment. Okay. And I think that's what we're here. I think that's what we're hearing. Like Sarah's done. Look, it was bad enough that thank you, Lil Red. I appreciate that. And thank you in the chat. I've talked about it before. It's hard to deal with. But I share the stories I share because usually they mean something. He only deleted one call from the call log. The reason that Chelsea called him back is because when they downloaded Sarah's phone, the call was there on her phone. But when she was interviewing Brian and was taking pictures of his phone and his call log, the call wasn't there. So he only just deleted the one call. And so I feel like I feel like that's kind of like why we're hearing the things that we're hearing. That's no, I had to gulp some tea. Coolest reviews. Joke. But I needed a drink. My mouth was parched. I've been talking and it takes a minute. Cartman's like got a little, like you have to do it right. You know, he's a little nasally, you know, it like, you know, but he's kind of like loud and I don't know, it's kind of hard to nail it. But anywho, and I don't think I even nailed it. I can only do that one part. So anywho, I think that with Brian, I think that's what we're getting from him. And I don't know why that one call got deleted. You know, I don't think it really means anything. I think I think he is like irritated a little bit and kind of like, what has, you know, like I've been dealing with you for the sake of our child. Okay. I have bailed you out when you got arrested for domestic violence against George. I put up with you bailing him out and bringing him back to the house, and the cycle of abuse repeating over and over and over and over. And I made excuse me, now I have hiccups. I made accommodations. You know, I've given you money. I pay you your alimony, all the things, right? And here you are. And now you've roped me into another shenanigan. And this time I'm a freaking witness, you know? So, exactly. You know, he showed up. He's been helpful. I think he's just over freaking Boone and her bullshit. Honestly, I think he is, you know. And now I think by the time the second call or third interview took place, whatever it was, where she's called him regarding the phone call, I think it was the second one. You know, at that point, now he knows that it's serious. Okay. And I'm curious about when this call took place, because when she called him asking about it. And the reason I say that is because so the date of the incident, which was the 24th, after the police said it's fine, she went and she stayed with Brian. That's where she was that's where she came from when she went down to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. In fact, think about, what did she say after they put the handcuffs on her? Somebody's going to need to call Brian. That's who she relies on. That's who she relies on. And so anytime anything happens, she calls. And it's quite possible that she called that night and she probably did say something. But like I said, She was drunker than Cooter Brown. And in that video, those videos, it's hard to make out some of the things that she's saying, you know? So it is what it is, you know? And do I think that he's a saint? No, because nobody is, you know? But Brian was the one who came in for her to, he rescued her and he fixed things. He managed her. And for Sarah, it's like, for Brian, Sarah is constantly in, crisis mode. And so for Brian, he is managing one crisis after the next, after the next, after the next. Well, hey, Charlie, good to see you. Can you explain why this isn't manslaughter but murder too? Been listening in the bushes. Okay, I am not an attorney, but my best guess is that the videos, if not for those videos where George is telling her that he can't breathe over and over and over, I think this if she had not recorded those videos, I think she would have been charged with manslaughter. But I think because of those videos and the fact that she's taunting him, that is why they charged murder too. That's what I think. So that's what I think. And I'm very curious when it comes right down to it. And it comes down to the instructions for the jury, if they're going to allow for them to, if there's going to be lesser included charges, like if they're going to allow for manslaughter or if they can only find for murder too. I'm curious about that. I think, I still think though that honestly, I have an open mind in that I am very interested in hearing what Sarah's forensic psychologist. I'm curious. I want to hear her testimony. I'm receptive to hearing her testimony because I'm curious about the evaluation process and just what she has to say, and I'm very interested in hearing that. However, I think for the jury, and I think when they get the instruction and when it's explained to them, what the definition, what they have to find in order to find murder too, I think they are going. I think that while they're going to listen to what Sarah's expert witness testifies to, I think that the videos, I think seeing those videos and hearing George's voice and the whole that you guys have said it so much in chat, the shh at the end. I don't know if there's any coming back from that, quite frankly. I don't. And if I didn't, also I want to say thank you, Charlie, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that very much. That was incredibly generous. I don't remember if I said thank you, and I wanted to make sure that I did. So thank you very, very much. I'm very I really think that those videos, I just don't think there's any coming back from that for the jury. I really don't. Whether it's, 6, 12, I wonder though, so if they only have to seat 6, okay, how many alternates will they have? I'm curious about that. But yeah, it is. It's very, very eerie. It's very eerie. It's very eerie. It's very eerie. So, We've been at this now for almost 2.5 hours, and I think that's good. Because all I really wanted to talk about tonight was the 911 call and and what Brian had to say. And we've been through her interrogation, but I'm going to ask you guys, how do you feel? Now, her interrogation is a lengthy one, so I'm going to ask you guys if you guys want to go over her interrogation tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night, which will be the 30th. And then I don't know what we'll do on the 1st because the hearing is the 2nd. So you guys want to review? Okay, absolutely. I would be more than happy to do the interrogation video. Absolutely. Let's do it. It's a date. And then tomorrow I'll figure out what else we need to talk about. Oh, I know what we can talk about the next night. I got it. Because I was going to talk about it tonight, but now I'm tired. And I won't be able to express it succinctly. I'll start mumbling and, so how it goes with me. So we'll talk about the battered spouse defense Tuesday night, and then we'll have the hearing on Wednesday. So that will be perfect. Oh, did you, stars align? Did you like it? Did you like it? And I'm glad that you came out of the bushes, Charlie. I love it when I get those comments. Oh, yes, her car interview. We do need to do that as well. So we'll do that. That's what we'll do. Okay. So I love it when you guys who stay in the bushes decide to finally come out and chat. I absolutely love it. I'm glad that you feel comfortable to come and chat. We are like a night. We're a good group here. We really are. We're passionate, but we're respectful. So, well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. Jane says, I really enjoyed this long chat. Thank you, Jen Lu. Me too. I enjoyed it. So yeah, let's discuss Sarah's. So that's what we'll do. Because those are the two biggies. That's what he's trying to get. Well, I guess he's going to allow for the car interview to come in. So we'll do her interrogation video tomorrow, since it's a long one. And then we'll do the car interview the next night, and we'll talk more about this battered spouse defense. All right. Does that sound like a plan? I hope so. All right, you guys. I think I'm going to play the intro for you tonight. I haven't played it in a minute, and I like the song. So I'm going to play. I need to rework it because there's a part that I don't like. It's like too long or whatever, and it's bothering me, but it'll be a while. I got too much other stuff to do. But anyway, I want to thank you guys all for being here. If you haven't done so, please do your girl a favor. Give me a thumbs up on the video. It helps get me out there in the algorithm and suggest it out. And if you feel like, you know what, Jen Lu, no, I'm not going to give you a thumbs up on the video. You don't deserve a thumbs up. Give me what you think I deserve. I like it either way, and I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow night, I bid you a fond farewell and adieu. Bye.
Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do. Well, fuck you.
No malicious intent effort was towards it.
No militia.
Finish her!
Minutes later.
We all do a little match sometimes.